Let's do this NFL mock draft, love it or hate it. We go to Dane Brugler, a long time, and maybe the king of the media mockers for a long time running. He's got Dalton Kincaid, tight end Utah, and we should tell you, Dane used to work with us quite often here at the Fan, and he has a knack for like nailing these things well before anybody. Like his network of sources, it's not just the film work. He's all over this situation. Says the last time the Cowboys drafted a tight end first round was David LaFleur, and Barry Switzer was the head coach. But the current Cowboys are looking for playmakers on offense, and Kincaid offers a unique profile, could give Dak a quick wins like the aforementioned Schultz, while also providing more explosive potential. Sell us on this. Is he a finesse Jimmy Graham big guy? Is he a bull? Is he George Kittle? Like, there's a lot of athletic freaks that come out of college at the tight end position, and there's only like 4 Wookiees at any one time in the entire league. So, I mean, how sure could you be that a first-round tight end could break into that pure game-breaker mode that, a handful of guys show us?
Always doubt, right? Because a lot of these first-round tight ends, to be honest with you, they have not ended up living up to the hype. Noah Fant, even Kyle Pitts so far. Maybe he hasn't quite lived, and he got hurt last year, so it might not be fair. Per game, he's
doing well.
But
sure OJ Howard,
right? You can throw out the guys that maybe haven't, like a Pettigrew from Oklahoma State a couple of years ago comes to mind. But I love Dalton Kincaid. Like, I'd love this.
Hawkinson's gotten better.
Hawkinson has, and I think that he's in a great place there in Minnesota now, right? Yeah. And he's another guy that injuries were maybe a reason why it was slow for him to get going. But I think Travis Kelce might be like a Mark Andrews. Maybe those are guys that I'd compare a Kincaid to. He's not a George Kittle to where he's like that rugged bulldozer, mean, nasty kind of guy. I wouldn't call him finesse, though, because I do think he can block. But to me, he's just a guy. You talk about being able to kind of find space like Dalton Schultz does really well, just a knack for getting open and winning quickly. That's what Kincaid does. But he's got the ability to get you yak. He can move in open space and create and score from different areas on the field. I love him. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I think he's worth it. And to me, just because you might like a Ferguson or a Hendershot, I don't think that's reason not to take him, because it's very likely that you're sitting there, the wide receivers are wiped out, tight end might be the best player at 26.
And they love to get in those tight end heavy groups and run a bunch of times and then try to spring a big pass play on you with 3 tight ends on the field. We've already seen Mike McCarthy warm up to that, so I think that's a great
matchup nightmares there at tight end.
Brian, anything to add on the next one?
I think the Wooly Bully had it nailed.
We go to the Dallas Morning News here, where they have done a mock draft here, and this is Calvin Watkins, by the way, who's going to join you coming up at 6 o'clock. Yeah, and he's got the guard from Florida, Osiris Torrance. Would you love it or hate it?
I think, to me, that what Torrance has done is he's gone in and he's lost weight. He was a 347-pound guy, and now he's down to like 330 pounds. He's not the quickest of foot. He's a power player. He's a big guy. When you see him in the inline block and stuff, he gets really good movement. Sometimes he doesn't always get up on the second level. But if you want a player at the point of attack, whoever you put, say you put him next to Tyler Smith being a really good athlete, they can handle stuff out on the edge. This guy inside, Jerry Jones always talks about building the front of the pocket. Torrance is the type of guy that's a hard guy to knock back there. Not the best athlete, but man, he is a super strong guy.
All righty. So would you hate it or love it, Brian?
I would love it from the aspect of, I think the front of the pocket is important. I would hate it from the fact that if you tried to say, we're going to make an athlete out of this guy, that's not his cup. If you say, we're going to pull him and we're going to run the screens and we're going to do all backside cutoffs and all that stuff, that's not this guy's thing. This guy is a straight ahead power blocker.
So you're kind of lukewarm on it.
I'm not totally happy about that, no. Because I personally would take John Michael Smits, the center from Minnesota, and consider playing him at guard because I know what an athlete he is, and if it turns too expensive for Biotish, I can plug him in at center and away we go. Yeah, I think in the NFL you have to have your offensive line has to have athletes. Yeah. And I think the more of those guys you have, the better off you are.
So we're going to focus on pass pro, but not at the expense of running the ball. And that would be a move in that direction.
Torrance, if you want to run the ball, Torrance would be fine to run the ball behind. That's his deal. And if defenders try and run through him, he's not going to let you run over him.
He's just not going to do the fancy running
He's
stuff.
not going to the ball to the edge and things like that are
gotcha.
not his. That's not his.
He's not a
game.
guy you want to get in space.
Yeah,
because he's probably going to be too slow to get out to his spot.
Yeah.
All right,
but he lost weight. He lost 17 pounds, and I think that was something that I was really worried about. I'm like,
discipline.
this guy can't play at 350, but 330 might be a different player.
I like him. I wouldn't think it's a bad pick.
Okay, Todd McShay comes in here at 26, and he's back to Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
A lot of the insiders talking tight end now, a couple of days after Broadus first alerted you to this. It's now starting to populate in a lot of these mocks, coming off 70 catches, 890 yards, 8 touchdowns, and we've already been over that. Yeah, you guys would like it.
He's really good. When you flex him, put him in a wing, move him, there's a lot. This kind of third down is really good at catching the ball.
So then we're going to finish up here over at NFL.com with Lance Zierlein. You guys mentioned his name a few segments ago. Drew Sanders, the linebacker from Arkansas, looks like Leighton Vander Esch on the field and is a linebacker who can rush the passer. Feels like an automatic selection for Jerry Jones, especially since he went to Arkansas. Would this be a good pick at 26, Wolchuk?
He's a Denton Ryan Raider. I've gotten to see a lot of Drew Sanders growing up. Got to call some of his games in high school. I mean, I'm a fan of the kid, man. He's a good kid. He's just I liked him, but I didn't love his tape. You know,
yeah.
But he's one of those guys where I think he's clearly the best linebacker in the draft. It's a little rich there for me to take him at 26.
I feel like, though, with Drew Sanders, he's a better straight line player than he is with the mobility and stuff like that. The workout at the combine, there was a little bit of some struggle when they were asking him to do some bendy things. And he's kind of a guy that, when you watched him on tape, as a pass rusher, you did see some bendy things. So to me, the fact he was at Alabama, he transferred. This guy's played on some really good teams. He's played in some big games. I mean, and the fact that he can rush the passer, I think, is a plus.
Absolutely.